Jagrata, Jam Masters. Free will, very interesting concept, and very few people understand it, but everybody has it. It's just not what you think it is. People say, I don't have free will. What they mean is, things aren't the way I want them to be. I can't make things be the way I want to be, so I don't have free will. That's not what free will means. Free will means you're inside, you know you are, in there, and in there, you're not helpless. You have this power called will. You can make things happen. You can make your arm move. You can make your mind think certain things. You can do all kinds of things with your free will. You are free to do that. You're the only one in there. You're the only one in control of your will. There's literally no competition. There's nobody else in there. So what you decide to do is what your free will is. Doesn't mean if you decide to pick up a mountain that you can be able to pick up a mountain, but you're free to decide to, and you're free to try. You have free will. What are we doing with our free will? Take each part of your being. There are three major parts of your being: your body, your mind, and your heart. Your body lets you interact and function on the physical plane because it's physical. Your mind lets you interact on the mental plane because it creates thoughts, visualization, vocal thoughts, either one. And you can do what you want with that. It's your mind. You do whatever you want. It's your body. You do whatever you want. And you have a heart. And your heart is capable of creating emotions. The truth of the matter is, you can create emotions. You can have a thought that makes you feel an emotion. You have another thought that makes you feel another emotion. If you're an actor or an actress, you're really good at making your emotions be what you want them to be. They can cry at will. It's just an amazing thing. It's your heart. There's nobody else in there. It can go from alpha to omega, and you do whatever you want with it. It's your mind. There's nobody else in there. There's no competition at all. You can think about whatever you want, or nothing. It's your body. It can sit still, or it can jump around like a Mexican jumping bean. It's yours. You do what you want. Okay, very good. What are you doing with those three things? And then we'll talk about what you can be doing, and talk about how you get to the high states, how you get to a beautiful life. What you are doing with all three of those things, your body, your mind, and your emotions, you're doing all the same thing. You listen to me. It's not nice, but listen to me. You're not okay in there. You're not like having a party. Stuff in there. Scary, anxious, insecure, self-conscious, embarrassed, guilty, etc., etc. It's not easy living in there. It's not easy being you. And that's true of everybody except for an extremely highly evolved being. We have issues in there. Let's just say it's not like totally comfortable from the moment you wake up in the morning to the moment you go to bed at night. In fact, it's generally not comfortable the minute you wake up in the morning. All right? And it's not even comfortable while you're asleep. You have nightmares. You have anxiety dreams. You have all kinds of things. That's you in there experiencing what life is like, experiencing the inputs that are being created inside of you. And you're not comfortable. We can talk about why that happens and why it's like that, but just at least be honest and say it's not comfortable. The ultimate measure is as follows. You just had a meal, you're totally satisfied. I mean, it was the most perfect meal you ever had. Do you want more food right then? No, because you're satisfied. Here's a person you love more than anything in the whole world. They've been on a vacation and they came back. And there's this love pouring between the two of you and you're hugging each other. You want to go have a pizza? What do you want to do? Want to go to Hawaii? No. I am content. I am satisfied. I am fine. When you are content and satisfied and fine, you don't want anything. Why? Because you're content, satisfied, and fine. How often have you spent in your life where you don't want anything? Where you're just sitting inside and everything's just fine. It's just, I don't need anything. There's nothing I'm afraid of. There's nothing I need. There's nothing I'm trying to do. There's nothing I'm trying to create. There's no one I'm trying to influence. There's nothing. How about hardly ever? How's that? You are busy in there doing what? It's very simple. You're in there trying to be okay. Can you see that? I don't care how you're trying, but you're trying to be okay. You're trying to get some sort of a situation outside of yourself that makes you feel better inside yourself. How much of your life have you spent trying to create a situation outside yourself that makes you feel better inside yourself? Relationships, cars, houses, clothes, you name it. Vacations in Hawaii. You're trying to create situations outside yourself that make you feel better inside yourself. There's nothing wrong with that, but let's at least call reality reality. But what does that tell you? It tells you you're not okay. If you're constantly trying to be okay, that sounds so positive. No, it's not. It means you're not okay. If you're out there trying to find the right doctor that you need to find the doctor, don't feel all excited when you find them. It means there's something wrong with you. You need to find a doctor. When there's nothing wrong with you, you don't need to be finding a doctor and get all excited because you found a good one. So this is something we don't look at. We're so busy trying to be okay that we don't look and see, why am I not okay? Why do I need things to be a certain way outside of me for me to be okay inside of me? Why do I need people to like me so that I feel good about myself? Why at all do I need things outside, people, places, weather, things, anything, to be a certain way so that I, who's the only one in here living within myself, feel good about myself? That's the most important question you ever ask yourself. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to go about your entire life like you have done and everybody else has done, trying to manipulate and control the world around you so that it be a certain way so that you feel better. You don't feel as insecure. You don't get embarrassed. You don't feel guilty, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You feel good about yourself. And nobody has ever succeeded. Nobody has ever succeeded. How do I know? Because they're still doing it. The rich people are still doing it. The poor people are still doing it. The beautiful models are still doing it. The handsome studs are still doing it. The baseball players are doing it. The football players. Everybody's doing it. They're all trying to get something. They're all trying to impress other people. They're all on stage trying to get it a way that will make them feel better. No matter how much money they have, no matter how much power they have, then they want respect. And no matter how much respect they have, it's not enough. They want more. So famous people are just as screwed up more. I told you, go out and be really, really good at something. Do a concert that's the best ever, or a play or anything, or give a talk. And everybody writes, all the New York Times, everything writes all these things, how unbelievable it is, right? You will never want to go do it again. Because all you can do is fail. And you're going to feel this insecurity. But you would think that'd be the most secure person that ever lived, the person who did so well. No. Because they know they can blow it. So you get to the point where you understand everything I'm saying is saying the same thing. I'm not okay in here. And I'm trying to relatively be okay by creating situations that I think will make me feel better. What makes you feel better? You can't understand until you understand why you're not okay. And so a wise person does this thing called introspection instead of out there manipulating and controlling the world, because it will not solve anything. It will never stay the way it is. When somebody tells you in the midst of intimate moments, oh, I love you so much, you say, what? I didn't hear you. What was that? So they say it again. Or if they say it and you heard them, you sit there and say, how do you know? Well, I know I feel tremendous love for you. For how long will you? There's nothing they're going to say that is going to get rid of the insecurity you feel inside yourself. It could work for a minute, but then where'd he go? Where is he? Who is he with? Why is he talking to her? That's where all of this comes from. You're trying to be okay inside by creating situations outside. It will never work. It can't work. You can make it feel a little bit better, but it will never last. You'll have to continuously do things. You go on a vacation, it's really nice. Then you get back, you have to figure out what to do, figure out where to go next, and so on. You can't substitute being okay inside by creating momentary situations outside that temporarily feel good. It's just not going to last. There is a state of absolute total well-being inside. For everybody, there's a state of absolute total well-being all the time, with no exception at no time, nothing but absolute, ever-new, effervescent joy and well-being. That is a state that you're capable of. You will never, ever get that by not being okay and trying to put the Band-Aid of the outside world on top of it for a temporary repose from your non-well-being. So how does one go about this instead? One looks inside and asks the deep question, not what do I need in order to be okay? That's the wrong question. The question is, why am I not okay? That's a very, very different question. That's the crux of the whole thing. Not what do I need, not who do I need, and there are no exceptions. Don't try to make something, sacrosanct, relationships or marriage or children or money or helping others. Nothing sacrosanct. If you are doing it because you're not okay, if you're out there trying to have feeling of worth in your life so you're helping other people, you're no different than everybody else. I mean, there's a line here. You're either doing it because you're not okay and you're trying to be okay, or you're looking inside to say, why am I not okay? That doesn't mean you don't get married. Doesn't mean you have a relationship. It doesn't mean you don't help people. I'm talking about motive. The Buddhists talk about intent. What is your intent in what you are doing? It is not what you are doing. It is the intent behind it that makes the difference. Okay? So I've talked about it enough. I know you can extrapolate it. This entire world, which everybody's doing, of I'm not okay, what needs to happen out there for me to be better or me to be okay? If you're playing that game, you will never know who you are and you will never know the beauty that exists inside of you because you're not even trying to. You're trying to put something on top of the disturbance and distortion that you have outside. Let's say you feel lonely. Let's say you feel insecure and not worthy of love. Lots of people feel that way. Do you understand there is no one you can meet, no one, and no matter how they act toward you, that is going to get rid of that. You're just going to take them and put them on top of it. That's why love turns into need instantaneously. I feel lonely. I feel left out. I don't feel anybody can love me enough. Oh my God, you look at you, blew me off my feet. You're my soulmate. It's so perfect to me. Where are you going? Stay here. Have lunch with me. In other words, nothing that anyone's going to do can take away what you have going on inside of you, which is a lack of well-being. All you can do is try to put them on top of that and then expect their behavior to be such that it will make you feel better. And that's why people have so much trouble with relationships. Nothing outside of you can fix what's wrong inside of you. All right? So now the alternative life, the spiritual life, is to sit there and say, if there is something wrong inside of me, I'm going to fix it. Then I don't have this problem. Well, what about the outside world? Once you have fixed what is wrong inside of you and you are content and whole and complete, I like to use the word self-effulgent. You're self-effulgent. You are feeling love and joy because you are feeling love and joy. If somebody asks you why, you say, I don't know. That's the highest reason. God, I feel so much happiness today. Why? I don't know. Good, then it can't betray you. It can't go away. God, I feel love that I've ever felt before. Did you meet somebody? No. Why? I don't know. That's beautiful. It's just a spontaneous, natural state of well-being. You don't have to have something happen for you to feel healthy. You just feel healthy. If something happened, then you're not healthy. You needed something to make you. Do you understand that? I'm feeling much better. Why? Well, I took this special vitamin or injection or had some treatment. Well, okay, it's not going to last because you needed something. If just all of a sudden you feel better, you feel healthier, it's spontaneous, it's natural, has a chance of lasting. So you finally get to the point where you realize, I have some work to do, and it's not on everybody else, it's on me. I have some work to do on myself to find out why I don't feel okay inside. Why am I having so many problems that I have to be so busy doing this other stuff? Fine. So what do you do? How do you do this? It's very simple. You're not going to get rid of the tendency to try to do things outside to make yourself feel better inside. It's very natural to have that tendency. In fact, that tendency by itself is actually a great help to your growth. It's not like you suppress or renounce or put on a fake facade. You become what we call the witness. You sit in here and you watch these tendencies happen inside of you. So you feel insecurity, and you see the tendency to call somebody, see the tendency to go somewhere, you see the tendency to do something to make yourself feel better. That's very beautiful. Now you have to decide. You can go out there once again and go through the little treadmill that never stops turning, all right? Like the little hamster. You can go out there and do that and try to once again find something that temporarily let you make it through the night, that you get over this little temporary thing that's disturbing you. Or you can look at that like a friend. You look at it, it's been with you your whole life. Hello. Hello. You can talk to it. You can work with it. You do not have to let it run your life. And so you notice this, and it's strong. And I'm telling you, the highest thing to do, when it's said and done, you'll do lots of things in between. But I want that you get the final high teachings. The highest thing to do with that tendency that rises up inside and is so uncomfortable when it does, that's because you're not okay. You understand? That's what it means to not be okay. I got stuff like that going on in there. I got loneliness, I got need, I got fear, I got insecurity, I got self-consciousness, I got embarrassment. And they come up. Well, they're not comfortable. That's why I'm not comfortable. If they weren't there, I'd be fine. But they are there. They keep popping up. Okay? And so what do? I'm telling you, you relax. It's just, let's go to the highest first. You relax. What does that mean to relax? When the impulse comes up, there's going to be the tendency to fix it. There's going to be the tendency to do something about it. You just have to mature to the point of realizing that if I'm doing something about it, I'm wasting my time. Because it's just going to come right back. It's not going to go away that way. It's going to be a constant cycle of one relation after another, one situation after another, one hope or dream after another that I think will fix this. And they don't fix it. So instead, there's this great thing you can do that does work, which is relax in the face of that disturbance. You can't go with the disturbance. It becomes the foundation of your life if you do that. It'll determine where you live or who you're with and what you wear. Everything will determine everything in your life. Your attempt to avoid these disturbances. If you become a strong being, it means when the disturbance comes up, you relax. You just relax your shoulders, relax your chest, relax your entire body, and relax around your mind. Give it space. You don't have to stop it from talking. Your mind's going to naturally talk. That's what it's used to doing. Your mind thinks its job is to figure out how to make you okay. That's what it does. Well, you should have done this. If you'd only done that, maybe you call. It just basically creates thoughts to try and help you figure out what to do so you don't have to deal with this disturbance. What you do is avoid all of that. You don't suppress it. You just understand to the core of your being that if you go with that, it's not going to work. You'll have this forever. You'll have to do it next time and next time. If you wear certain clothes and drive certain cars and do certain things to get somebody to like you, you're a busy person trying to keep them liking you. You don't want there to be any reason that anybody likes you. But let's say, oh man, what you're wearing, it's really attractive. It melts my heart. What are you going to wear next time? Same thing? That'll get old. You feel like you only have one pair of clothes. You think you're laughing, but I'm telling you the truth. It is a burden to have to rely on outside things to make you be okay. So I'm begging you once in your life, just relax in the face of the disturbance. It means you're not doing anything about the disturbance. And what it will do is pass. People don't know that. They haven't done that. Therefore, they keep it inside and they manifest it outside because they let the disturbance control what they're saying, control their behavior, control their relationship. Don't we do that? A wise being has caught on that these disturbances do not have to be inside. They are inside because I've never let them go. I'm afraid of them. I'm afraid of them. I literally keep them inside. So instead you relax, keep your hands to yourself inside, and over time you learn to actually appreciate. Enjoy is a little bit strong, but eventually you will actually enjoy. But you learn to appreciate and respect the power of letting go. This is called letting go. Often people say to me, what do you mean by letting go? Does it mean I don't go to work? I don't get married? It's not renunciation. It has nothing to do with renunciation. Renunciation is not letting go. Renunciation is this disturbance came up inside. Everything about me wants to go out and do this thing about it, but I won't. I'll push that thing away. I won't touch money. I won't touch people, things. I won't get married. You're just pushing away the thing that you decided you think would make you feel better. How is that going to fix anything? It doesn't fix a thing. It just makes you a nervous wreck. All right? Go talk to Freud about suppression, because that's what you're doing. You're suppressing. All right? Letting go is at a way deeper level, and it's the only way that works. Letting go, you do before your mind formulates what you think will make it work. Or if your mind formulates it, you don't pay attention. You don't buy into it and then not do it. You sit there and see, yes, my mind has this tendency to think yet another relationship, yet another thing, yet if I get a raise, yet if I get a better car, yet if I get an addition on the house, yes, then I'll be okay. So it says to you all the time, if I get rid of some of my age lines, then I'll be okay. If I'm not losing my hair and I get a little wig thing or something, implants, I don't know, all right, then I'll be okay. Doesn't it say that, right? Then I'll be okay. If I was younger, then I'll be okay. If I had a beautiful girl or guy around me, then I'd be okay. I don't know. Whatever your mind says, it says something, doesn't it? Okay? It's just amazing. I mean, literally, it says you're wearing glasses. Your mind says, God, if I could only wear contacts, that'd be so much, then I'd be okay. Right? It's too bad I can't because they hurt my eye. It's even these stupid little things. It's just lying to you. Your mind is trying to figure out what it is that it can bring in the world around you so you feel better. It's a temporary, meaningless thing. You have to get to the point of understanding that. So it's not renouncing. What it is relaxing in the face of the disturbance. If I have a disturbance, I look at the disturbance, and the first thing I see is, you're not going to run my life. Why would I let the lowest part of my being run my life? Why would I want to give you the lowest part of my being by saying something that it wants me to say? Why in the world would I do that? Why would I let it, which is, by definition, is the lowest part of your being? It's ugly, isn't it? It's difficult inside. You've admitted it. That's not love. It's not beauty. It's not joy. It's not divinity. It's a low vibration. It's a low energy that's disturbing. So when it comes up, first thing you do is look at it from the seat of self and say, no, I'm not going with that. That's not me. You just take a quick look at it. It just takes a billionth of a second. You take a look at it and say, I'm not going with that. Not push it away, not suppress it, not hate it. Just, I'm not going with that. Wait till you see it change your life and change the life of everybody around you. You'll be a totally different person. Just, I'm not going with you. And what you're going to find out is that you can't do it. You won't be able to do it. You'll say, I won't do it. I'm not going with you. And next thing you know, you'll be saying the words it wants you to say. So it just tricked you into it. Let me just release a little. I just release a little. All right, it'll feel better. It'll be easier. Nothing makes it easier. I've been doing this for so many years. Nothing makes it easier. You don't want to make it easier. You want to let it go. That's a totally different thing. And I'm telling you, you can let it go. I don't care how long it's been in there. I don't care how disturbing it is. I don't care how much of a mess of your life it's already made. Doesn't make any difference. The moment you decide, what am I doing? I am not going to let this, let's just call it a disturbance. Fair enough? It is a disturbance, isn't it? Okay? I'm not going to let this disturbance run my life anymore. Well, what do I do with it? Nothing. Nothing. Don't I have to grab it by the horns and pull it out? No, don't you dare do that. Okay? That's involving yourself in it. It will get stronger. It will become a stronger part of your being if you touch it. Well, don't I have to push it away so it's not there? No, same thing. If you push it away, it will go into the subconscious and it will rot down there and get stronger and stronger. And it'll come back up like the boogeyman and get you later. All right? That's not the way to do it. It is neither expression nor suppression. It is letting go. It is release. How do I release? Don't touch it. Notice it came up by itself. You didn't go down there and bring it up. You didn't say, oh, where are you, trouble? Come on up here. You didn't do that, did you? No, this is funny, but it's serious. You did not go fishing for that, did you? It came up by itself. So let's talk about why it did that. Because it does do that, doesn't it? It does it all by itself, doesn't it? Why is it doing that? Seriously. Because it doesn't want to be in there. Those energies are not natural, blocked and stored inside of you. There is a natural system of releasing this garbage that you have inside. Just like your body has an immune system that throws out garbage, internally you have a natural energy system that pushes out these blocks, these disturbed parts of your being. That's why it comes up by itself. I've proven it to you, that it doesn't want to be in there. I tell you what it will do. If you were strong enough and you sat in a very deep seat inside, you'd see a disturbance come up, it would pass right through and it'd be gone. And you're fine. You're more than fine. You will be higher than you were before it came up. Okay, there we are. Now we're talking serious. You have a certain state of consciousness, a certain amount of love, a certain amount of clarity, but that's blocked because this thing is still inside of you. Even when it's not coming up, it's still there. Go ask a psychiatrist or psychologist. If you've suppressed stuff and it's not bothering you right now, is it affecting your life? Of course it is. It's affecting everything that's going on. This stuff that's stored in there, these disturbances that you've stored inside, they do not sit in there well. They block energies. They block the greatness of your being. So that when they come up, it's because the chi, the Shakti, is pushing them up, because she wants to flow and lift you up with her and come to a high state. And so this upward movement of the energy, which most of you don't feel, a yogi feels that. A yogi literally feels, a deep being feels rushes, waves of energy pouring up inside on a continuous, constant basis. It never stops. It's just like upward flow, like a rush of holy waters, the Bible calls it. That is what you experience every moment of your life. It's coming up and feeding you. Again, Christ, man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that leaveth the mouth of the Father. That means you're not being fed with your well-being from outside. You're being fed inside. Why does that energy not flow like that inside? Because it's blocked. Just like a river can't flow when it's blocked, or the Colorado River can't flow because you built the Hoover Dam. You blocked it up. If you block your energy flow, you won't feel it. Your energy flow is blocked. By what? The disturbances that you stored inside of you. You have stored these things. And now when they come back up, they're disturbance because you stored them as disturbance. Where did they come from? You did it. Every single blockage inside of you, you did. What do you mean? Mommy yelled at you. Okay, what'd you do about it? I stored it inside. I remember it in my dreams, and it comes up from time to time. And when she died, I wanted to work it out with her, but she died before I could get there. So now that she yelled at me when I was 5 bothered me, and now it bothers me a lot that she died before we could talk about it, because I finally went through therapy, and I saw that had happened, and then, oh my God, every one of those things bothers you when we talk about it now, don't they? Because you stored the disturbance inside of you. You didn't let the moments come in and pass through. Instead, you resisted them because they were not comfortable, and every single thing you ever resisted is still inside of you. Psychiatry will teach you that, won't it? Can you be 53 years old and working out something happened when you were 5? That's what caused this. You took the disturbances and you couldn't handle them. Therefore, you blocked them by resist. Here, I'm back to, how did I start this talk? Free will. That's what you did with your free will. Oh my God, what a silly thing to do with free will. Take disturbances and store them inside. If you don't like something, let it go. Don't make a habit of collecting it. I told you before, I used to teach this all the time. What is your hobby? You have a hobby. You collect things, right? I collect spoons. I collect stamps. I collect coins. I collect bad experiences. What kind of a hobby is that? That's crazy. But you do, don't you? Every single thing that ever bothered you is still inside of you. The event's no longer happening. Mommy said something 25 years ago. She doesn't sit there and talking to you constantly. It's gone. It's over. Then why is it still inside of you? Why is it a sensitive subject? Why is it a trigger point? Why you got any stuff going on in there? Because you stored it inside. That's what you did with your will. And I'll prove that you did it. What happens when it comes back up? You push it back down. Somebody says something. You start to get weird. You get weird, don't you? Start to get weird. You sit there. Just, no, I need a minute. I need a minute. Just leave it. Okay, we can talk now. What did you just do? You pushed it back down. I'm showing you the proof of every moment of your life what's going on. Situations come in, they're not always comfortable, but you can't handle that. And so you push them and store them down there. And now they come back up because it's not natural that they be there. In other words, it happens to be very healthy that they come back up. Just like it's healthy if you have a sickness inside and it boils up as a boil or something. So you can see it. It came to the surface. That's not a bad, don't go shove it back down. If the thing pops up and boils up, it's because it's down there. It's not going to come up if it's not down there, is it? Please don't believe that the person outside of you made that thing happen inside of you. I haven't thought about that for years. I can't believe you said something. What's wrong with you? No. What's wrong with you? That you have this thing in there for years. You don't want everyone to have to be careful what they say or worry about what you see because you have this stuff inside. Do you understand now? That's what's blocking the flow of your energy, and that is what you have devoted your will to try to protect yourself from having to experience things that you weren't comfortable to, that you didn't like. And that sounds so natural. Of course I want to protect myself from things that are not comfortable. The moment you protect yourself, you stored them. This is so important, and it seems so simple to me, but people don't get it. Let's say the wind is blowing. The wind's blowing. It's fairly strong. Not hurricane or anything, but the wind's blowing. You just had your hair done. Whew, it's messing my hair up. Okay? You don't like the feeling of the wind blowing across your face. It's a little scary. You don't like that. It's hard to keep your balance all the time if the wind's strong enough. So you don't like the wind blowing past you. All right? So what do? I have to stop the wind from blowing past me. We can go buy a piece of 3/4-inch plywood, put some handles on it, and hold it up against the wind. But you better work out first, because it's really going to be hard to do that, right? And you can then devote the rest of your life to working out, eating bodybuilder food so you can be strong enough to do this, to holding it up there. Where's your relationship? That is my relationship. I don't get to have another one because I'm busy doing this. This is not an exaggeration, to understand that. The alternative was what? Enjoy the wind blowing past your face. If I get anywhere from handle to enjoy the wind blowing across my face, I don't need the plywood, do I? I don't have to pay anybody. I don't have to do anything. I can have relationships. I can go where I want. That's what we're talking about. Some situations happen in your life. They are like wind. They are not comfortable. They come in. You're not comfortable with them. Let them go, so that they don't stay inside. I am better off experiencing what the wind feels like, messing up my hair and blowing across my face, than I am devoting my life to being a wind blocker. That's what I am. That's my career. No. So the way you do this is you start to devote yourself to saying, I'm not going to store anymore. I've taught you this before. This is the true spiritual path. Okay, I've got junk in here. You got junk in there? You bet I do. How much? A lot. Okay? And it comes up all the time. And if it's not coming up, I'm afraid it will. And at night it's coming up while I'm sleeping, creating all kinds of trouble. I got junk in there. Well, I'm telling you, not only is the problem that the junk comes up anyways, and therefore you get all weird again in the middle of nothing. You understand? You'll be driving to Miami in your car by yourself, and you can get yourself into hell by having a thought. Yes or no? Do you really want to live like that? Because I am telling you, you do not have to. There is a whole nother life. And that is the life of saying, this stuff is trying to come up. It's not comfortable. Stuff is happening in my real life that's not comfortable. A wind, different things. I need to learn to relax in the face of these things so they have the room to pass through and they don't have to store inside of me. That's the bottom line of this thing they call spiritual growth or spiritual life. It's the spiritual path of non-resistance. It's one of the chapters in The Untethered Soul. The spiritual path of non-resistance. I am going to let these things pass through me instead of storing them inside of me. You start, because I said, even if you understand it, you won't be able to do it. The next thing, somebody will say something will come up, you'll just react. It's adorable to watch. You'll just react, just say something, you defend yourself, you get mad at them, whatever it is. Every bit of all of that was because you couldn't handle this thing came up inside of you. So what you start to do is work with handling it. You work with practicing. Okay, if you're not good at it, you can get good at it. So you start with the everyday events that happen that cause minor disturbances inside of yourself. Somebody's driving too slow in front of you. It starts to rain when you need to get out of the car. Anything that happens. You drop some ketchup on your clothes at lunch. Any of these big earth-shattering things. And you decide, I'm not resisting this one. You just decide. You're the boss. It's your will that's going to resist it or not resist it. That's why I was talking about will, right? You're the only one in there. Nobody's making you do it. And you decide to learn how to let go. It's the most important thing you will ever learn. So let's say you got the ketchup on your pants and you're feeling self-conscious about it. Good. Work with it. What do you mean? Should I go home and change? No. Go to work. But I'll be self-conscious. Good. That's how you start to take an attitude about changing yourself. You just sit there and say, it's a piece of ketchup. It's like, I am not going to go through life not being able to handle the fact that there's a piece of ketchup on my slacks. That's unacceptable to me. Period. So therefore I'm going to learn to handle it. I'll train it to be able to handle the fact that it's going to feel a little insecurity right now. You go there, you're supposed to meet a bunch of friends for lunch and get an 8-person table. It's a very crowded restaurant, and you're the only one there. The table, right? Everyone comes out. Can we sit? No, I have friends coming, right? And it's been an hour. You got friends, right? Great, good. Bring it on. You're in here. Use your will to learn to be okay, instead of using your will to let your not okayness decide how to protect yourself. Because I'm telling you, if you protect it, it's staying in there. And so instead, you just practice letting go. Ultimately, the way you let go is to relax in the face of the discomfort and keep your inner hands to yourself. And I know you know what I mean by inner hands. The ones you manipulate in there with, you push things away, don't you? You grab things, you do all kinds of stuff in there. You're a busy person in there. You hear me? The mind's very busy. You're trying to figure everything I'm talking about. How to get things the way you want to. What should I do? What shouldn't I have done? You try to go to sleep. Am I saying, you shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have said, I can't believe you said that. You were fine till you said that. He's not going to like you. I don't even want to see him again. I'll be so embarrassed. Why are you doing that to yourself? You're the only one there. And that's what you're doing to yourself? There's something wrong with you. And so you commit yourself to use your will to raise yourself. You just wake up and realize it's a mess in here. So you start with these small things that happen every day that create some disturbance. Disturbance becomes your friend because it's an opportunity to let go. Just like when you're working out. They say it doesn't mean anything till it starts to hurt. No pain, no gain. Now you're working in instead of working out. So you're working inside, and if something starts to happen, it's a little bit uncomfortable, fine. Use it as a way of letting it go. And you're going to find out that somebody beeps at you and you're stopped at a light and you had your smartphone and you weren't going, a light turned green, and it used to upset you a real lot and you told everybody about it. Why are people so impatient? It really wasn't that long. It was just like 10 seconds. You can't even stop. You have to keep talking about it. Why? Because you couldn't handle it. Can you imagine not being able to handle beep? Right? When he beeps through arm, and there's a lot of noises being made on this planet at the given moment. And you heard one around you and you couldn't handle it. Learn to. Learn. You learn all kinds of things. Learn this. I'm serious. It's the most important thing you'll ever learn. So they beep. You feel some disturbance. There's nothing wrong with them beeping. There's nothing wrong with you feeling some disturbance. I'm making your life easy. I didn't say don't feel disturbance. If you feel disturbance, you're terrible. No, I didn't say that. I said it's perfectly natural. They beep. You got an ego like everybody else. Self-conscious. You feel a little embarrassment. The question is not that. The question is, what are you going to do about it? You're going to get out and start road rage? Or are you going to sit there and be afraid to look at the person when they drive by? Or are you going to use this completely meaningless situation to grow, to become a greater being? And so you practice letting it go. She feels uncomfortable, you relax. Keep your hands to yourself. This is where your practices come in. If you have a mantra or something you do with your mind, just start saying the mantra. Start saying a word that makes you feel comfortable instead of paying attention to the neurotic mind that's giving you a hard time because somebody beeped at you. Just get out of that head that's saying, I can't handle it, and get into the one that's saying, of course I can handle it, and you're going to find out that it goes. And you don't even want to talk to anybody about it. You don't even want to do anything. There's not no reason to do anything. It just passed right through. And when you can do that with the person who beeped at you, then you can do it with the fact that somebody didn't behave the way you expected them to, or somebody said something you didn't like, or somebody didn't say something that you wanted them to. Just these little things. Keep letting go. Keep letting go. And you're going to find that if you let go, that your center of being, your center of self, no longer is established in the mess inside of you. It's established in what we call witness consciousness. It's established in your seat from which you see things. See, what happened is if something comes up and it's disturbing, I can't handle it, I have to go down there to deal with it. If I can handle it, I don't have to go down there. You know what I mean by down there, don't you? You have to do something about it. But if I can just relax, I don't do anything about it, I end up maintaining my seat of consciousness. And that's a very deep state. I maintain the same seat. Eventually, you'll go through your entire day seated behind the stuff that's coming up inside. And then you'll go through a week, and then you'll go through a month. And then you become what we call established in the seat of self. You don't become established in the seat of self by trying to establish yourself in the seat of self. The seat of self is the seat from which you see. You're in there, you see. You see your thoughts, you see your emotion. You do. You notice your thoughts, don't you? They wouldn't be a problem if you didn't. Where do you notice them from? There's actually a place in there where you live. You don't stay there. You keep projecting your consciousness onto the disturbances that are coming up inside of you. And then you project all that into the outside world. It's called the fall from the garden. Boom, boom, boom. And by the time you're out here, you're very busy. If you can handle the disturbance, then you don't have to leave. This is very deep. That's the highest state. If you can handle that it came up and you don't have to do anything about it, then it can't touch you. It just comes and it goes. Who cares? Just like little boo-boos, you bump into something in your leg, you bump into something in the wall, you bump into a little bit. No big deal. You just bump a little bit and get a little bit of a hurt, right? You don't go home. You don't tell her, I was walking, I bumped my leg. You don't do that. It's just a tiny little thing. How about these tiny little things inside? Why can't we let them go? Just like you let go of the tiny things outside. Practice this. And then what's going to happen, and it'll be very natural to you, is one, you'll become pretty good, and you'll like it too. When you're in that stage where you're letting go of the little things, people always write me and come to me and say, oh, Mickey, I made it. I'm so much happier than I used to be. It's unbelievable. That's like the low-hanging fruit, the honeymoon stage, right? Where these little things that have no meaning you used to bother yourself about, now you stopped. Of course you feel better. Of course you feel higher. Of course you feel more joy, more love, and so on. You're not bothering yourself about meaningless stuff, all right? And what's going to happen is because you're not bothering yourself about this tiny little stuff, what's bigger is going to start coming up inside because there's room. And all of a sudden, you start, oh, what's that? Where did it come from? I was doing well, and now there's this dark energy that I feel like I was in high school, and I had that sort of thing. Yeah, talk to me. That's what I like when you come to me with that. I say, good boy, good. And you say, no, bad, good. Because if that stuff's down there, it's coming up. And I like that you opened up enough to where it's coming up. But I don't understand. Nobody did anything. I was just minding my own business, and that's right. Because you didn't shove more stuff down there, the old stuff has room to come up. It will come up by itself. You don't have to do anything about it. It doesn't want to be down there. Your chi, your shakti, your energy system is always pushing up, but it's blocked. So as you give it room, it can push stuff up. What's my job? You treat what daddy did to you or mommy did to you when you were 5, or who yelled at you, what your sister did or brother did years ago, your formative years junk that you built down there, you treat it exactly the same as a person who beeped at you. The beep was disturbing. Well, this is disturbing. You relax. You let it go. And you keep letting go, one after the other. Well, what should I let go of next? The one that's in front of you. Well, how do I know what to let go first? It will tell you. It will come up. You never, ever have to do any work, ever, except letting go of what's in front of you. That's not bad, is it? You have to go study things. You have to figure it out. It's not a test. You don't have to figure out what's down there. I'm serious. I'm really serious. All you have to do is if it's coming up, let it go. And then you'll start to be grateful that it's coming up by itself. And now you'll start to feel higher. First you had the little stuff. Now some bigger stuff is coming up. When that stuff passes through, well, you know, in traditional psychology, let's go to traditional psychology, right? Freud's couch. You're down there, you got problems, mommy, daddy, whatever it is, and you know, I'm sure you've met people that they go through a breakthrough. They talk about something, and finally they understand what it was that happened, and they talk, and they cry so hard, oh my God, they cry, and then they say, oh my God, I haven't been able to sleep for like 5 days, I have so much energy, I feel like a totally new person. Yes, you've heard of that? You know, some sort of psychological breakthrough, a therapy breakthrough. This happens naturally. They aren't doing anything in that but finding the thing that's down there and helping you hold your hand to help you let it go. It's going to come up by itself because it's not natural being down there. The question is, are you willing to let it go? If you do, you will start to feel more and more energy. Yeah, literally, you'll feel more energetic than you ever did. You'll feel love, you feel joy, you feel enthusiasm and excitement. Why? Because that's the energy that was blocked by these blockages. If you keep letting go, you will get higher and higher and higher. And guess what? There is no end to how high you can get. No matter how high you are, there's way higher. That's a fun game, all right? And it works. The other way doesn't work. What other way? Keeping the junk in there and trying to bring things in from outside that distract you from it. make it easier to live with. That don't work. That's ridiculous. This works. But it is work. It's called working with yourself, working on yourself. The Gita has a line. It says, one should raise the self with self, not trample down the self. You're the adult in there. You're the higher being. Hi, she's a scared little kid. Raise it. Raise it. Let go. Keep relaxing and releasing. And then you're going to get to a certain point where you're really doing well. People say, God, what are you doing? You're so happy. You're smiling all the time. And you got this light in your eyes. And you're such more beautiful than last time I saw you. Because the energy is what's beautiful, not you. Take the most beautiful person in the world and look at them when they're fast asleep having a nightmare. They're all white and they don't look so good, right? When the energy is out and you're in love. That's why they say bride is always the most beautiful thing in the world. It's like if you're in love and energy is flowing, oh, you're beautiful. You're all beautiful. So this is what will happen to you. Then you'll get to a certain point and you'll think you're done. You haven't even started. You haven't even started. First, there's these tiny little meaningless things that you bother yourself about, that the only reason they're a problem is because you bother yourself about them. If somebody beeped at you at the light and then they drove away, it's over. Why would you bother yourself about that? It's not bothering you anymore. It's not even there. But you bother yourself about every little thing. Somebody doesn't say hello when you said hello to them. Why? It's like, I told you, the litmus test for the low-hanging fruit is if you let it go, it's not there. The only reason it's bothering you is you're not letting it go. Just work with those. Then what will happen is the stuff from before that rotted down there because you didn't let it go then will start to come back up. Good. Now that you've practiced letting go of the daily things, you can let go of the past things. And you'll do very well, and you'll get a lot of energy. And then what will happen is something will move inside of you. I don't usually tell you this part. Something will move inside of you that's way bigger than the stuff that's been coming up. It feels like it's always been there, right? It's what I call the foundational stuff. You hear me? It's like there's just, your entire personality is built on that, avoiding that stuff. You say, but I've always been like this. Those are the ones that want to know. Not the one, mommy did this, daddy did this, first husband, now those are easy. I've just always been like this. I've always been afraid of heights. I've always been uncomfortable in situations like this. What do you mean always? Ever since I was little. Why? I don't know. Those are foundational things. They're just core things. They're not biological. They're just deep blocks, and they can go. When those things start going, now it all changes. Now this energy I was talking about, as you start to break through that kind of stuff. How do I break through it? Now that you learn to do little things, now you learn to do the in-between things, you do the same thing. For the rest of your life, you never do anything but let go. That's your entire job inside. I am a machine that lets go of whatever's in here. It's none of my business what's in here, but I'm letting it go. And you just keep letting go. So if a big one moves, let it go. And it will come up in pieces. You just feel something weird, let it go. You have to figure out what it is. Just let it go. Whatever disturbance comes up, let it pass through. And then eventually, over time, these big ones shift, and you change completely. Your whole mind doesn't think the way it used to think. Your heart doesn't feel the way it used to feel. Instead, it feels clarity. This clarity. Disturbances happen outside, and you're there to work with them. You don't freak out. You don't get all upset. You just find that you're deep and clear and ready to deal with something that's very, very deep. And your heart doesn't get hurt anymore. All it feels is strength and love. You can help other people because you don't have a problem yourself. You get to a point where you never have any problems anymore. Never, never. Listen to me. You get to a point where you never have any problems anymore. It doesn't mean the world doesn't unfold in weird ways. It means it doesn't cause you a problem. You're so whole and complete within yourself that you can go through life without problems. That's how it's meant to be. So then once this happens, and it's at that level for a prolonged period of time, the energy that you used to use willfully to control these things so you didn't have to worry about them or feel them, that's a downward energy. You're using that to control, manipulate, suppress, control the outside world, all that. It's all downward energy. When you stop doing that for a long enough period of time and enough of the stuff is cleansed, that exact energy flow changes direction. And it starts to flow up inside of you. And you literally feel it every moment of your life, blowing all this beautiful energy up inside of you. And you're always high, you're always happy, you're always filled with love, even in difficult situations. So your state becomes letting go. You just keep letting go. And the energy will change direction. It will start to flow up inside of you. All your centers will open by themselves. And eventually you'll find yourself up here. You're back here. That's where you sit inside, and your energy flows up here to the higher centers, the 6th and 7th chakra. You don't have to know about them. So I never talk about them, but it's where you will live. Now you live down here in a mess. It will take you up, and you will never come back down. And that's not even high. And then eventually the energy flow will take you outside yourself, and you start to merge into the deeper states. Ultimately, Christ's state, where his sense of individual consciousness, he let it go, and it merged back into the universal. And he said, my Father and I are one. So it starts with how you work with yourself. It ends with there is no personal self. In the Hindu tradition, yoga tradition, they say that Jivatma merges with Paramatma. The individual soul merges with the absolute. Your consciousness takes you beyond yourself. These are beautiful things. You're a beautiful being. You know, this little whining beggar that's out there trying to get somebody to be the way you need him to be, otherwise he's going to hurt me. No, rise up, and do this work inside yourself. And it's how can anybody take this away from you? It has nothing to do with anybody else. Well, it has to do with you. It has to do with how you're working with yourself. Do you understand that? You don't need anybody else or anything like that. You decide, this is my house in here. This is my kingdom. There's nobody else in here. It'll be any way I want. I want it to be beautiful. I want it to be high. What do you want? People say, what do you want? Dream what you want. Okay, I'm not interested in your cars or your houses or your relationships. I'm interested in you sitting there saying, I want to wake up in the morning and I'm so filled with joy that I can't even wait to start the day. I want to feel like every single moment of my life is the most exciting thing that ever happened. I want to feel that if life is difficult, I want to feel like it's because I decided to climb Mount Everest. And climbing Mount Everest, that's a hell of a thing to do. You understand that? Sometimes your fingers freeze and you almost fall off. Oh, that's why it's fun. If Mount Everest was easy like a hill, nobody would do it. Your life is your Mount Everest. That's what you're doing with your life. You're climbing, you're experiencing, you're lifting yourself. It's the most exciting thing in the whole world. Everything's exciting. Even things that look weird or, oh my God, what's going to happen? That's exciting. It's like climbing the mountain. And this becomes your whole being of enthusiasm, excitement, and passion, and love. I would like to live like that. That is inside of you. All you have to do is liberate it, free it from these blockages that you kept inside. So that's what you can do with your will. I started with will, I'll end with will. You have free will. You're using it to push the stuff down. You're using it to keep the stuff inside of you and then manipulate people so you feel okay with the stuff you kept inside of you. That is just weird. You can use your will to let go of this stuff. You can use your will to relax and release. You can use your will to raise yourself. Very good. Work on these things. Jai Guru.